Hello, this is Robert Perkins, the immigration professor, and today is a special video that we're making about the Arizona immigration law. This is a law that has stirred a lot of controversy here in the United States, and what I'm going to do is summarize some parts of the law that I think are very interesting and controversial and make some comments on those. And then hopefully you, the viewers, will decide what you think of it. I have a whole library of informational videos about immigration topics on my website, www.immigration-professor.com, or if you have a specific question about your case, please call our office at 310-384-0200. My name is Robert Perkins, and we have regional offices both in California as well as Illinois. So I have a summary, actually, of the new Arizona law. Let's go over what it says. The first part of it says that it prohibits cities within Arizona from having what's called a sanctuary policy. A sanctuary policy means that the police will not inquire about somebody's immigration status. The reason that cities have this policy is they do not want people to be hesitant to report crime for fear that a relative or someone will get deported. Typically, this type of policy is helpful in a domestic violence situation. Let's say a wife gets beaten up by her husband, wants to call the police, or she's being beaten up. The wife might be afraid to call the police because if the police are going to report the husband to immigration, the husband will get deported. So this would prohibit a city from not doing that. And a lot of major cities like Chicago, for example, has a sanctuary policy where they don't report. And the reason they don't report to immigration is they want people to report crime. So what this will do is this will make people more hesitant to report crime, knowing that if it's a friend or relative or somebody that they know that committed the crime, that that person will not only get arrested, but also could face deportation. So that's an interesting piece of this legislation that hasn't gotten talked about a lot. Another part that has, actually, it says when somebody is stopped for anything, any kind of stop, traffic stop, whatever, an officer can arrest them if they think that they're an illegal alien. And this part of the law has been subject to a lot of criticism, and I think rightfully so, because it's very hard to determine who's legal and who's not. And as I said in my initial overview video, there's a lot of people that are sort of in an in-between status that, for example, let's say somebody is in immigration court and they've admitted they're subject to deportation, but they're claiming what's called cancellation of removal. We have a video about that, and that leads to a green card. So they're kind of in process. How is a police officer to determine, for example, that? And there's many other types of nebulous statuses that it takes me years to train a paralegal or an attorney to figure out, what that status might be that has a quasi-legal status. So unfortunately, the Arizona State Legislature has decided that police officers with perhaps limited training will be making those determinations. Another aspect of this law is that it allows Arizona residents to sue their own government agencies if they feel that the agency has any kind of policy that restricts the immigration laws. And it's a very broad kind of restriction, and it's very likely that somebody is going to start some kind of frivolous lawsuit against some agency of the Arizona government for some reason if they feel they're not doing something to report immigration violations. That's another aspect of this law that I think is troubling. I kind of have a summary here on the next page. The other part of this law that's equally disturbing is that it says that police officers can arrest people if they fail to carry their immigration documents. And again, the problem with this is that even attorneys practicing in this area, paralegals, a lot of times, it takes them a long time, years, to figure out the different statuses, the people in between, and everything else. So Unfortunately, this is going to lead to all kinds of different mistakes. I am told that already someone has been arrested, a truck driver who was born in California, who had a funny way of speaking, and detained for hours and questioned quite rudely because he didn't have his birth certificate, even though he had a non-Arizona driver's license. And so you can see that this could lead to all types of problems. So another aspect of the law says that it is illegal for anybody to give a ride to someone who is illegal. So if for example, a lady is picking up her child at school, and there are other children there that happen to be illegal, and they drive them home, that would be a violation of the Arizona law. I'm going to pause a little bit here to say again that you can see all of my informational videos about immigration topics at www.immigration-professor.com. Or if you have a specific question about a case, you can call our office and schedule a consultation. The number is 310-384-0200. We have offices in Illinois and California, but we see clients all over the United States. So again, if some mother is driving a friend of her child and that other child happens to be illegal, that mother can get arrested. So now the so-called soccer mom needs to be an immigration expert. The last part of this that I'm going to comment on is it's requiring employers to use the federal E-Verify system, which is a system to verify whether somebody is legal or not. The problem with that is there's been numerous problems, mistakes, problems with people having the same name with that system. They've been noted in all kinds of press releases, etc. So I'd be a bit concerned about requiring all employers to use a system that's already flawed. I'm going to put my summary down and say that there's already been litigation started over this Arizona law. There is an argument that the federal government is supposed to deal with immigration issues and not the state government. And also, the real concern is where is this law coming from? Where is the country going? Being somebody who is Jewish, I am personally offended by any kind of situation where someone's being asked, give me your papers, I need your papers. And also, this law, because there's no way to determine who's legal or not, there's a lot of concern that this law unfairly targets Latino people. And what it really, I think this law notes is the need for immigration reform. There needs to be a system that makes sense. There's people coming here, they're coming here not to put their kids in a fancy private school, but to feed their families, and the question is, how do we respond to that? When there were communist countries, we gave people asylum. We were able to help those people, and the situation eventually changed. And I think the situation will eventually change south of the border. It may take a month, it may take a year, it may take many years. But in the meantime, we have the capacity to hire people. And there is a need for people to work in some of these occupations that these people have. So I'm going to conclude this video for now. I want to thank everybody very much for your time and hope I get some positive, proactive comments on this video. Thank you so much.